Thorin recently made a video about Liquid, and all I have to say is, get the fuck out of my scene, Thorin! Alright? Go back to fucking analyzing some European teams, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Thorin said that Liquid doesn't have, like, an entry fragger. They have Nitro, who should be the entry fragger. Like, I watched Joshua Steelerson's Twitch, stream once, and he said that Nitro would make a good entry fragger, so basically I'm thinking that Nitro would make a good entry fragger. Okay, great. But had you watched any of Liquid's online performances or any of what they've done, you would clearly be able to say, hey, this Elige guy, consistently on gun rounds, looks like he's the entry fragger. He's with the majority of the party. He's making the first interaction. You know, things that generally entry fraggers do by, the fucking Clive textbook definition of what the fucking entry fragger is. Another thing, I think he just completely shit on Adren and his calling. Whereas, a lot of the times in the last LAN, Liquid's timing and their spacing looked really good, actually. And they were trading really well. It looked like they were on point. But, I mean, he does kind of have an idea. Actually, no, fuck that. There was a round where Liquid looked like fucking... They were being led by Pronax, where they took the bomb to one bomb site, and, shit broke down, and then they brought it to another bomb site, and they kind of like, they double faked. They pulled like a Pronax double faked, planted, and won the round. And it worked out. And it was like, wow, just in the nick of time, Liquid's really lucky that they did that. No, give credit where credit's due. Adren made a good mid-round call, I'm presuming. And, I just like, if Fnatic does this great mid-round save thing, and they make it work, and they win a round, the credit's going to go to Pronax. So Liquid does that, none of the credit goes to Adren. Is Adren necessarily a bad in-game leader? Personally, I don't think so. I really don't. People want to call out Adren and say, well, Nitro's really talented, and Alicia's really talented, and, and Fugly's really talented, and Adren's just not putting them in the right places to succeed. Bullshit. Just watch the fucking games and come to that conclusion. Why is Taric fragging... Taric has a P250, he's in a corner in B main on Cash, and he has no armor. And Elige and Nitro are pinching him with AK-47s and armor, and somehow, someway Taric kills both of them with a P250 and no armor, when they know where Taric is. Not like they walk by, they don't check the corner, and bam bam. They know where he is, and he's able to kill both of them with a P250. How is that on earth the in-game leader's fault? How on earth does that fall on Adren's shoulders? Okay? I want good things for Liquid. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have answers. Because if you actually look at the game, if you look at the last LAN, the qualifiers, Flowsick came up huge. Flowsick did amazing things on multiple gun rounds and on eco rounds where he got 4Ks and just made plays. He didn't bait. And no, Flowsick's not necessarily a support player. I mean, he can be, but basically the formation that Liquid has is a lot like Fnatic's, where they have a 3-man bomb squad, or even Envious's, and then they have 2 lurkers out on the wing sometimes not, where, yes, they will get Fugly to play more of like a support role. Or, support and drop back and play the drop back lurk instead of being on the fringes of the map. And really, Flowsick is more of like a lurker. Flowsick's a good lurker. He's very smart. He puts himself in positions where he doesn't get necessarily just picked and aggroed off the map. Fucking people want to blame Flowsick because he's not a household name. I don't think Flowsick's the problem either. Obviously, Adren opping and calling... I mean, maybe that doesn't work. Maybe Adren should just completely dedicate himself to being just the best support player in North America and win late round situations. I've seen him win those very impressively, actually. Making great decisions and winning clutch rounds. Maybe Nitro should op. Maybe he just needs to spend more time. I mean, obviously he's not anywhere close to a good opper now. I wouldn't say. I don't think anybody would have the balls to say that. But he has a lot of like reaction time talent. I've never gotten so singularly shit on in my life as I have against Nitro. Like, not Taric, not Shroud, not Skadoodle, not Hiko, not anybody. It was like all I saw was the corner of a pixel of Nitro's head player model, and I was headshotted, and I was like, what the fuck? I mean, and I wasn't even in a position where, like triple stack on Mirage, and you'd like pre-fire that. It wasn't like that at all. It was like just completely an off angle. Anyway, the point is, maybe Nitro can be a successful opper. Maybe that would allow Adren, like maybe Adren can't call an op at the same time. But for Thorin to sit down and say, you know, Elige is this and Nitro is that, and maybe Nitro should entry frag. No, Elige is their entry fragger. There's a lot more to entry fragging than just having raw aim and skill. A lot of it has to do with timing and running with flashes, which Elige is able to do, and kind of knowing when to peek, when not to peek, spacing, making sure that you're not too far ahead. So there are a lot of things that Elige does well online. And I mean, if you can't see that the distinction is they're not a good LAN team and they're a great team online, or they're a quality team online that can actually like make rounds close and win games, then you're just not paying attention. Clearly, all Liquid needs is maybe they do need that late round player who's extremely solid and can really like make a difference. Maybe they do need somebody who can clutch rounds for them, because a lot of times they're not. One thing Thorin said that was actually accurate is that they're not winning those grinding rounds where shit doesn't necessarily go to plan and you just have to make something work. They're losing those rounds. And there are players that can win those rounds, obviously. You know what I'm saying? But the ultimate like response here for Liquid is just to keep, like, something's got to change, something's got to give, so to speak, and I think a lot of what Thorin was saying was just factually inaccurate, was just factually incorrect. I agree with his thoughts on Fugly. I've always said Fugly's actually a lot better player than people give him credit for. That he has great like awareness, great decision making, excellent timing. Like it's almost like he has wall hacks, but he supports really well, and he's worked on his aim tremendously. I mean, I've seen his headshot percentage just go way up. But the scathing comments, although they were highly entertaining and really like fun to watch, made by Thorn, just are not factually accurate. They aren't. If you're gonna sit there and say Liquid, who's the entry fragger? They don't, like Fugly and Nitro, and no, they have one. His name is Elige. He has been the entry fragger for a long time. He's a little bit. He's not even that methodical. He's not like so methodical as Roka, or he's just a little bit more methodical, I would say, than Nitro, which is fine. But yeah, I don't get where you could go off and really blame Adren's calling for what Liquid's doing, because they were able to actually just destroy Tempo Storm working against their aggression. And then when Tempo Storm knew, hey, we just played Liquid on cash, they sat and they waited for our pushes, and we played right into them, and they ate up our aggression, and they shut us down. Let's clean that up. Let's not do any of that. Let's play proper CS. You know, let's work the clock against them, and let's just let them beat us like that. Liquid was still able to beat them. So, I mean, Liquid's a team that beat Fnatic on cash. They looked really good doing it, and the credit that they get is disproportionate at this point to the amount that they're getting shit on. And I think maybe they need to tweak a few things. Every single time Elige goes to LAN, he becomes a better LAN player. Every time Nitro goes to LAN, he becomes a better LAN player. It's just more LAN experiences, and maybe it's just that. Maybe Nitro and Elige are just not ever LAN players, and they just won't ever be good on LAN, and they're just onliners, and you know that would be a tragedy, because they look like they have a lot of fucking talent. But yeah, I would say the only thing that Liquid really needs to get off their back is to get the LAN monkey off their back and do well at a LAN. and sometimes that includes bringing in a player who has LAN experience and clutch experience and can really bring that kind of playmaking ability to a team. Like at a certain point, there are certain players that are just difference makers. They're turrets, CT side, first of all, and then second of all, and if you look at Liquid, they don't have anybody who I would describe as a CT side turret. They don't have anybody who I'm like, you put this player here, like Shroud or like Skadoodle or like Roka or like internationally, you could look. Most EU teams have 2 to 3 to 4 players whose CT side you could just be like, yeah, that guy's a turret. Like, good luck. Good luck getting through him. Good luck getting through Zipnix. Good luck getting through, like, Cajun B. Good luck getting through Kerrigan. That Fnatic and TSM are really strong teams because of this. So, I mean, if they can solidify the foundations of what they can do CT side, that'd be great. And another thing, against Cloud9, when I was watching them on Dust 2, it just seemed like what Sean Garrett as a caller was able to just completely anti-strat and counter-strat Adren. Like, the first gun round, Sean Garrett put 3 people in the B site immediately. And Adren just happened to call a B rush on the first gun round. Like, do you think that's a coincidence? And then on another round, Sean Garrett basically stacked B again, knowing that Adren would go there. And then on another round, he moved Skadoodle into mid from being on car because he knew that Adren would be thinking, wait a minute, we keep going cat, Skadoodle keeps destroying us. What was it that Fnatic did against Cloud9 to beat Cloud9 again? Oh yeah, they went mid to B. Okay, let's go mid to B. That'll work. Yeah, Skadoodle's all the way over there at Game Helper. We'll go mid to B, and yeah, we'll just shit on them. That'd be great. You know what happened, right? That exact round, they decided to go mid to B. There was Ska playing mid, in window, out of nowhere, shutting them down. And it like, maybe Adren didn't study his opponent enough. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he just thought, you know what, fuck counter-stratting, we'll work our own game, we'll make them, like, we'll be the aggressors, we'll set the tempo, we'll make them, like, work off of what we're doing. I got some great ideas. But at the end of the day, I don't know if you could really blame Adren too much or ever say that Liquid doesn't have an entry fragger. They have one of the best entry fraggers in North America in Unleash. It honestly might be just that they need to make Adren just a full-time pure support player and have somebody else op